James 1, the book of James, chapter 1. We don't want to cause Cindy heartache at any cost. Amen. Praise God. James 1, 22 through 25. The Word of God. I want to preach a message I've entitled tonight, Capable of Evil. Capable of Evil. Eva Braun's legacy has released, of all things, home movies of Adolf Hitler. Many have objected. Eva Braun, in case you don't know your history, was Adolf Hitler's girlfriend, and so mistress for many, many years, all the way through World War II, was in the bunker with Hitler at the very end of his life when he took his own life. Eva Braun's legacy is released, of all things, home movies of Adolf Hitler. Many have objected. And the argument is, and this is why they've objected to home movies of Adolf Hitler. The argument is that the movies humanized him, made him seem normal, human. They are pictures of him laughing, smiling, and playing with a dog, and that all made him appear normal. Fact is, Hitler was human. Many of us haven't wrestled with the fact that any one of us, given the right combination of desires and circumstances, are capable of evil. In London, a former magistrate stole over $400,000 in addition to $220,000 of his own money to pay a call girl to clean his house. A senior police source said, "It's really astounding how a once law-abiding citizen was able to get himself into such a dreadful mess." I should be reading this with an English accent, but I'm not. Through his use of prostitutes and call girls. He went from an upstanding magistrate to a criminal in the space of a very short period of time. Listen, that is possible. Mild-mannered Dave Krasinski, upon reflecting on the revelations of his brother Ted Krasinski, a.k.a. the infamous Unabomber, said, "I think every person is a mystery. And it's strange to me that a person I grew up with and was very close to, my brother, remains one of the greatest mysteries of all." Right now there is I believe it's a domestic terror group. They've not yet been called that. They're called Antifa. They wear black. They wear black masks hiding their face. And anytime there's a pro-Trump rally or pro-Trump anything, they show up with mace, with baseball bats as of late, and they attack the Trump supporters. And they do it with masks on their face. They're in the big cities. Recently, a man with a mask leapt out of the crowd for a second, and you could just see a blur and a smack, and they found it later to be a bike chain lock, and hit a guy in the head. He started bleeding like crazy. He fell down. They dragged him off out of the way. They're seeing him. The ambulances are coming. They found this guy, because you can't mess with 4chan online, but they found this guy, and he turned out to be a college professor with a doctorate, smacking some poor kid that just loves Trump in the head with a bike chain lock. He's now facing jail time, which he deserves every minute of. See, in reality, we're all capable of achievement, compassion, and sacrifice, as well as seeds of greed, hatred, egomania, destruction, tempers that flare to a dangerous level that sometimes we are literally nanoseconds away from horrible damage with our own actions. All of these things, every one of us is capable of great things. Yes, indeed we are. but we're also capable of evil. Everyone. We're capable of coming against people, capable of rising up and gossiping and telling lies about people. We're capable of trying to make people look bad on purpose so that we can look better. We're capable of all of these things. We are human. So Picasso, how many's ever heard of Picasso? By all accounts was a classic, accomplished artist. Yet his private life was a disaster. His first wife went insane. A mistress later hung herself. Another had a nervous breakdown. His second wife shot herself. That's 4 for 4. That's not a great track record of relationships. In fact, if I was a good friend of Picasso's, I'd tell him to stop dating unless they start calling him a serial killer. One quote about Picasso went like this: "This man, with irresistible charm, manipulative self-promotion, and shocking cruelty, changed the life of every person he met." Catch that phrase. Irresistible charm and shocking cruelty, used to describe the same person in the same sentence. Irresistible charm and shocking cruelty. The opposite sides of the coin on one person at one time in one sentence described. See, we are going to see tonight that this dual aspect of our natures often fosters our delusions of goodness. Am I really capable of evil? You might ask yourself. The purpose of this message is not informational only. It is transactional, in that it is not just to discover why others are capable of evil in an academic sense, but to discover why we also are capable of evil. Us, you, and I. So let's not put this on a shelf and think about all the people you know fit what I'm preaching tonight. And you know, oh yeah, I knew they were evil into the core. This is transactional. This is something we need to get a hold of. This is something we need to understand. Am I really capable of evil? The answer is yes. I'll help you with that so that you can continue with this message. James 1, verse 22 through 25, in our scripture text, the Bible says, "But be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man observing his natural face in a mirror. For he observes himself, he goes away, and promptly forgets what manner of a man he is." But he who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, and is not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work of God, this one will be blessed in what he does. Mark 7, 20 through 23 says, "And he said, what comes out of a man, that defiles a man from within." See, we always think it's always about, we always respond, don't we? We react to what happens to us. Why did you act like that? Well, they made me so angry. Come on. It's always external pressure. It's always something that happens to us that causes our evil. We always have a reason, an external purpose for why we're so malicious. There's always somebody else, something else, somewhere else from outside that is causing this in us. That we would never be evil if it weren't for this, that, or the other thing outside of us making us this way. But the Bible says, "For from within, out of the heart of men, proceeds evil thoughts." Adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lewdness. Raise your hand when I get to you. An evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from inside, and they defile a man. There's not one external force even mentioned. Jesus is saying what defiles a man in reality is what happens on the inside of his heart. Not to condemn. This isn't for condemnation. This is Mark 7 is not written to condemn us, but to warn us, to be ready and to understand, to protect us, that what's on the inside can be very vicious. if we're not careful. And we got to get a hold of that. Amen. For out of the heart, amen, flows the issues of life. Amen. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12 in the Amplified Version, it says, therefore let anyone who thinks he stands, who feels sure that he has a steadfast mind and is standing firm, let him take heed lest he fall into sin. But we're interested, folks, not in healing the evil that lurks beneath the surface. We're more interested in keeping up appearances. How many can say that? We're more interested in you not knowing we're evil than us dealing with the evilness. Anybody listening? Okay, thank you, Felicia. And you need to listen. Praise God. We're interested in keeping up appearances. How we view ourselves lies at the heart of our attitudes and our actions. Sadly, that view doesn't always come from God, but from men, and it's not always accurate. In a carnival, there's a house of mirrors, and you can appear tall and skinny, short and fat, or even a mixture of all of those. Amen. But we are looking for a mirror that will make us look good to ourselves and to God. How many know you like those skinny mirrors? You like those mirrors on the wall to make you look skinny? You like those mirrors. You like to look in those mirrors. Like say, I'm losing some weight. And then you go to what we call a fat mirror. This can't be accurate. You walk by a window, you look at yourself and say, wow. Who was that tubby? Huh? Who was that tubby I just saw in that store? See, we view ourselves a certain way, but we're looking for kind of a spiritual mirror that makes us look good to ourselves and to God. What matters most to us seems to be how we appear to others, not necessarily how we really are. We have little or no interest in the inner man or the actual condition of the heart. And this is the dangerous part. This is where we need to get a hold of this. Because we are geniuses at declaring what somebody else is. Yes. But we're blind when it comes to declaring what we are. See, our view of ourselves comes generally from two sources. Number one, family. You know, you've heard the saying, he's got a face only a mother could love. Family, if you grew up with parents that said you were a great person, and then you were more able to handle problems and insults at school. This is true. This is a study. If your parents affirmed your life, spoke words of encouragement to you, told you how great you were, how capable you were, how smart you were, how good looking you were, then it doesn't really matter what people at school say. Oftentimes you're able to carry through that because your parents have affirmed a look to you of what they perceive you to be. Children begin to form an opinion of themselves, not based on God's word, amen, but on the opinion of their parents. If parents mock and hurt us, then we can turn to drugs or conflict. Emotions are put in autopilot. It becomes much more important what others think of us. We want to fit in. We want to be accepted by worldly friends. We fall into what I've called approval addiction, where we quite literally are addicted to approval of others. And so we work hard for it. We will sell our soul for it. And we cannot live without it. We have to have that approval. Why? Because you're not getting it at home. The view of yourself is dismal at home. So you're begging for the view of somebody that you know to be positive. You want approval. You're willing to do anything to get that approval. So if we're not accepted by our parents, then we view God the same way. If we're not accepted by mom and dad when we're young, then we tend to believe that we're also not accepted by God. We tend to believe that God feels the same way about us as our parents do. We feel that when we've roamed the world and sinned and done our own thing, and we finally find a church and we're stumbling to our knees at an altar to give our lives to Jesus, we often tend to believe, even at that moment, that God feels the way about us as society's felt about us over the last few years of our lives. We begin to think that God agrees with them. That you're here at the altar, you're begging God for forgiveness, but you're thinking in the back of your head somewhere, and I know I was, and you're thinking somehow God's not buying this. Somehow God thinks like they all think. Come on, somebody, about me. So this isn't going to work for me. And so this is how it is. So we feel that we are not accepted by Him. We begin a worldview that God only accepts perfect, or at least good people, translated better than us, and we disqualify ourselves in the process. Psalms 27:10 says, when my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take care of me. Come on, somebody. That's what the Bible says. That's what God said. When you're forsaken by mother and father, when you're forsaken by the world, when you're forsaken by family, when you're forsaken by the things of this world, then God will be your father. He'll take care of you. So secondly, firstly, family. We get our view of ourselves from our family. And secondly, from the input of others. Teachers, neighbors, close friends can be just as destructive or beneficial as parents. See, we wear well-oiled masks because it is important that we look a certain way, that we're putting something forward. We have a persona, not that we are, but that we want to project. We got a personality. I mean, there's people who say, Pastor, you preach too loud, so I try to preach softer. It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter what I'm thinking. It doesn't matter how I write the sermon. It doesn't matter how many times I say to myself, okay, now I'm down, settle down, just preach softer, just quieter. It doesn't matter how many times I affirm to myself that I'm going to be a different preacher. And I get up here and I end up within 25 seconds, the same guy. I always am. Somebody was shocked the other day, and they said, you know, Pastor, you're the same at home as you are in church. Yeah. Roxy said, you're the same crazy guy in Africa that you are at home. Yeah. Do you ever think maybe it's because that's who I am? Amen. I tried a long time ago. It doesn't help Tom Cunningham to wear a mask. It helps me to be authentic. So that you can at least know who you're dealing with all of his flaws, more on his sleeve. Come on, somebody. This is who you got. This is my pastor. As I'm mocking Alex in the front row. So let's look at some insight on well-oiled masks. How can any theologian deny the reality of original sin when it's proven daily by reading the newspaper? Human nature is all over the place. It is probably worse now than it's ever been, and it's probably because we're in the last days, and there are things that are happening behind the scenes, spiritually, that are causing this to happen. See, here's the problem. The problem is that inside are our feelings of shame. Inside our hearts are feelings of inadequacy, rejection, anger, unrighteousness. But we want to hide these behind a number of well-oiled masks. And we frequent several masks that are our favorites. I want to go through some of these. There may be more in your life, but there's definitely there's definitely these. Number one mask that we like to try on is a mask of outright denial. This is always the first line of defense for our lives. Come on, somebody. We program our minds to block out all information that is unfavorable to us and paints us in a negative light. And we like to just automatically delete that and deny it. I'm not talking about me. That's not how I am. That's not what I do. That's not who I am. Come on. And so we immediately deny it. Ananias and Sapphira projected an image of generosity while hiding an inner greed. God was not amused if you read the story in the Word of God. There's conscious denial. You know that you're not being honest with yourself. Come on. This is when you are putting on a mask on purpose. You full on know you're not being honest with yourself. You know who you are. You know your failings. You know your frailties. But you just don't want to deal with them right now. And so you know you're not being honest with yourself. You know you're not being honest with those around you. You know you're not being honest with God. You ever ask somebody that you absolutely, without a doubt, know they're struggling in sin, and you ask them, how are you doing? Is everything okay? Oh, yeah, I'm good. Come on, you ever seen them jump too excitably to the first answer? Yeah, doing great. Why would you? Because you're looking like a freak, man. There's something wrong with you. And that's generally my second answer. Why would I ask? Look at you. You're a mess. I asked you if you're all right because I don't think you're all right. Come on, man. No, I'm fine. Liar. You're not. You're not fine. I know exactly by the look on your face that you're not fine. I could tell by the spirit with my eyes closed as you walked into the room that you're not fine. We're going to continue. Amen. But you stick to your story anyway. No. It's your imagination. That's not fine. Did you stop with like the nervous tics? Because it's making me feel that maybe you're not fine. Maybe. See, here's an example. Arguments. You know you're wrong, but you defend yourself as if you're right. You maybe got yourself a little too deep in the argument. You realize that you're wrong, but you defend yourself as you're right. Google knows you're wrong. Everybody knows you're wrong. But you defend yourself as if you're right. Your emotions are out of control. Your behavior, out of control behavior is doing the talking, right? I said out of control behavior is doing the talking. And weaving a strategy to a scorched earth policy, ending at all costs. All thoughts of God, all thoughts of righteousness, all thoughts of being a Christian are out the window, gone, forgotten for the moment. You'll deal with that later. But this can happen particularly in marriage strife. This can happen in battles between people. This can happen all of a sudden. All of a sudden, you get angry. All of a sudden, you begin to argue. All of a sudden, you're defending yourself, even though you full on know that they got your number, that exactly what they're saying about you is right. You're still denying it. You're conscious denial. You know it's right, but you're not going to ever admit it to them because you're mad at them. And so the cussing flies. Just like Peter around the fire. I told you I don't blankly know the dude. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Then there's unconscious denial. By definition, we don't see our blind spots. We don't know. We're not aware of what unreasonable creatures we have become. Come on. Psalms 36 verse 2 says, "For he flatters himself in his own eyes when he finds out his iniquity and when he hates." He flatters himself in his own eyes when he finds out his iniquity and when he hates. Now listen to some translations of this. One translated version says, "For in his own eyes he flatters himself too much to detect or hate his sin." He flattered in his own eyes, he's too good to lower himself to this aspect. Too much to detect or hate his sin. The Message translation has some very clever insight. It says he has smooth talked himself into believing that his evil will never be noticed. He has smooth talked himself into believing that his evil will never be noticed. So that's the mask of denial. Number 2 is the mask of achievement. Not self-worth, but net worth. Not necessarily real success, but just overachieving to make up for what's going on in here. Come on. Lest you fear you're a loser, right? So we have this mask of achievement, not self-worth, but net worth. Success, money, power, influence, anything. You've seen it. People you work with exaggerate their significance at work. You've heard them say, "If I leave, this place would fall apart." When in fact the exact opposite may very well be true. And we would wish you would leave and hurry because this place needs you to go. See, the prevalent error here is that you think that because you're able to achieve certain things in certain areas in your life, you must be a good person. Somehow success, achievement, and goodness and righteousness go hand in hand. That because you're good at something, that makes you awesome. Makes you righteous. God must favor you because everybody else does. God must think you're awesome and you're good. How can I be having this much success if I'm not good, if I'm not favorable in the eyes of God? Listen, success, Achievement and goodness and righteousness don't necessarily go hand in hand. There are a whole lot of very successful people that are on their way to a fiery hell as fast as they can slide out of this life. Come on, somebody. Number 3, the mask of appearance, the mask of outward beauty. There is a want or a need to exaggerate your looks, to show off physical attractiveness and use it to get ahead, to turn heads, to manipulate people's opinion of you through physical appeal, even overt sensuality, to manipulate people into doing things for you. This drives the fashion industry. It drives expensive jeans, personal trainers, lemon juice in the morning, promotions of beautiful people. This is what it is. This is the mask of attractiveness makes up for my lack of righteousness. Come on, somebody. Attractiveness makes up for my lack of being fully healthy in here, in the heart. I had one young man tell me we were just talking about his workplace. He said he was on a break, and there was a number of other employees on a break, and he got up and he goes, "Hey man, our 20 minutes is up, we got to go." And one of the girls said, "I'm hot, I don't have to go. You have to go, I don't have to go." So because she's beautiful, because she was pretty, she didn't have to go back off a break. It was okay for her. You guys better get back to work though. I'll come along in a minute. Because why? Because I'm attractive. See, this is what advertising is. Advertising is beautiful people doing beautiful things. So you will think, if I buy this car, or if I do this thing, or if I go to this place, or if I eat this food, then I will be beautiful too. That's what the mask of outward beauty is. It's masking the inward ugliness. Come on, somebody. Then number 4, there's a mask of comparison. If I can destroy those who outshine me, if I can cut them down to size, if I can make them look bad in the pastor's eyes, then I will stand just a little bit taller amongst the ruins. If I can just tear it down, I'll be the only one standing tall. Come on, somebody. The mask of comparison. This breeds extreme competition. Mean girls attitude is so prevalent in our current society. We compete with our spouses instead of being proud of them for their successes and their achievements and encouraging their success. We feel that we need to cut them down to size or overtly outdo them to show them up. We compete obsessively at our job and in church with fruitfulness, with people I am working with disciples, with church members, etc. This is the mask of comparison. And number 5 is the mask of noticeable righteousness. Perceived or apparent righteousness. Matthew 23, 5-7 says, "But all their works they do to be seen by men. They make their phylacteries broad. They enlarge the borders of their garments. They love the best places at feasts, the best seats in the synagogues. They love greetings in the marketplace, and to be called by men, Rabbi, Rabbi." Oh yes, how can I help you? Matthew 23:23 says, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice and mercy and faith. These you ought to have done, without leaving the others undone." Matthew 23:25, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites." Here we go again. "For you cleanse the outside of the cup and the dish, but inside they're full of extortion and self-indulgence." This is what we're talking about. You're wearing a mask, a well-oiled mask, a mask that you think you pulled off on everybody else, but you're not getting any help. You're not getting any hope. You're not getting change. You're not reaching the altar calls. Come on, honestly. You're not reaching out to God. God's not able to break in. Amen. People aren't able to speak into your life. Come on, listen to me. You're not getting what you need because the masks are blocking everything that's so necessary for you to go to the next level in God. So it's time to be honest to yourself and to God. 10% of Rembrandt's paintings were of himself. But rather than paint out a few wrinkles and flaws, as I would do with Photoshop, it was always without embellishments. When asked about that unique trait, why is it that you left or painted even maybe stronger your wrinkles and your flaws? He said, unless I can paint myself as I truly am, I cannot paint others as they are. Oh, come on, somebody. Unless I can first see who I am, I can never see who somebody else really is. Unless I can understand who I am, I cannot understand what somebody else is going through. Unless I know what I really am, what I'm really dealing with, how I'm really able to be fixed, I cannot work with anybody else.
Amen.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. How many want to be able to paint others as they really are? Then you first must learn how to paint you as you really are. Unless we can be brutally honest and see ourselves for what we are in light of the Word of God, we can never be able to see others for what they are unless you can read a passage of Scripture and deeply see the stab wound in your own heart. Instead of always thinking, boy, I know somebody that I need to get this Scripture to them. I need to post this on Facebook and kind of put a hint towards there and towards that. I need to somehow tag them in this. Right? Why? Because you're reading the Bible and you're thinking about how other people all need this, and you're failing to see that there's a dagger the size of a house sticking out of your heart. Because you're not interested in changing you. You're interested in fixing everybody else so you can skate right through. Disciples, unless you can be brutally honest and see yourself for what you are in light of the Word of God, you'll never, ever be the man of God He's called you to be. It is wrong to assume that just because we are well thought of and liked, that all is well. Some of the most dishonest people in life and history are those with spotless reputations to the public. The problem with church kids, and we have a whole youth group full of them, the problem with church kids is that they are raised around so much good, so much church, so much lingo about the things of God that they're immune from bad. And they learn how to appear good instead of being good. They learn how to speak good instead of being good. They learn how to placate so the adults will think they're doing just fine, have a great relationship with God. Instead of having one, they learn how to act like they have one. But we need to see our own flaws as we see flaws in others. Then we learn that we are all made of the same stuff. Come on, somebody. That we're not alone in our weaknesses. That this is not something that we're just dealing with by ourselves. See, sometimes we're afraid to admit who we are because we're ashamed of who we are. We're afraid to admit this is what I've got going on, lest somebody else would know that you are indeed a sinner struggling with issues that are not pretty. But when we begin to realize that other people are also struggling, instead of mocking them or gossiping about them or pointing them out or just continuing friendships with them because of some issues or flaws in their heart, why don't you look at them and say, you know what, that's like looking in a mirror because I got that going on. The problem is they're courageous enough to admit that they have flaws, and here I am hiding mine. Come on, somebody. This is what happens. This is what happens. You want to look good instead of being good. This honesty involves a progressive knowledge of our own sinfulness, combined with a deeper appreciation of God's grace. C.S. Lewis says we must have our nostril constantly attuned to the septic. That we must. You ever smelled a sewer or a septic tank? You've been here long enough, you smelled it downstairs as it bubbled up just to say hello. Remember that burrito last week? There it is. All right. And so what happens is C.S. Lewis says, make sure that you have a nostril constantly attuned to your own septic tank. You have a nostril ready to smell your own failings. your own faults, your own weaknesses. Make sure your nostril smells you long before it smells somebody else. Oh, come on, somebody. People that are very exacting in the law on others, legalistic per se, you might call them. They seem to have no revelation of their own sin or God's grace for that matter at all. And it's shocking how many people that are outrightly flogged and they're dressing down others with no mercy. I have often said, as I've heard that happen, I've said, be careful. That grace that you so despise in him, you might need in your own life someday. James 1:24 says, for he observes himself, goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of a man he was. The Word of God is the only mirror that won't allow us to flatter ourselves. The Word of God is a mirror that will always tell you exactly what you look like. There's no skinny mirrors in the Bible. It's exactly what you weigh. It's exactly who you are. It's exactly how you look. I got my hair cut today, and I sat down and I looked in the mirror, and you know, those are so lit up in those Great Clips barbershop. They are so lit up. They are radically lit up. I looked in the mirror and I said, I look so old. I could see every wrinkle. And I looked in the mirror and I said, I hate you. Look at how old you've gotten. What is it? Where did this come from? Who allowed this mirror in here? Turn off some lights. But that's like the Word of God. Every time you open it up, man, you're hoping. You're hoping that there's just enough grace that it doesn't see the crow's feet in your eyes. And it's like one of those mirrors that shows everything really big. It just goes right there to your flaws. And you're reading the Bible and it's pointing out the very thing that you were hoping we didn't have to discuss today. Come on, somebody. For he observes himself, goes away, and immediately forgets what kind of man he was. But the Word of God is the only mirror that won't allow us to flatter ourselves. It won't allow us to get away with anything. Proverbs 28:13, he who covers his sins will not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them will have mercy. Listen, you cover your sin, you won't prosper. But whoever confesses and forsakes them, you'll have mercy. 1 Samuel 16:7, but the Lord said to Samuel, do not look at his appearance or his physical stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord does not see as man sees. For man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart, the inner being, the inside. I don't care that he's tall, strong, tan, good looking. I want a king that's got a heart of gold. Come on, somebody. Do you have any more sons? I've rejected these sons. You brought me your outward showing. Beautiful sons, yes, but I've rejected them. Hebrews 4:13, and there is no creature hidden from his sight. I said there's no creature hidden from his sight. But all things are naked and open in the eyes of God, to whom we must give account. That's a scary scripture. Pastors in this day and age should never read Hebrews 4:13. If you want to have a big church, don't ever read that scripture. Let me read it again. And there is no creature hidden from his sight, but all things are naked and open to the eyes of him to whom we must give account. When the early missionaries went to primitive people, they often gave them a mirror, which was made of a mixture of copper and tin. And people in those villages had lived their whole lives knowing what others looked at, but had never known themselves. And it was telling to the missionaries. They would give them a mirror to watch the looks on the face of the people that had always probably been mocking in their head others, the way they looked, the nose, this, we always, come on somebody, we're always cruel about how somebody else looks at it. For the very first time in their life, they're looking at their own face. And they said it's precious to see that someone look up. Imagine looking in the mirror for the very first time. See, this is true of salvation. We look in the mirror for the very first time. That's what it means to be born again. Is that the old life, the dead life is buried. And we wake up and we get a fresh start. And we look in the eyes of Jesus and it's like a mirror. It's like a cleansing. It's like a second chance. It's like starting over. It's like we know who we are, but somehow He's made it so that He's no longer holding us accountable for who we were. Come on, somebody. We still have memory. How many got up from the altar when you got saved? You still got memory of your sins. Still got memory of your failures. Still got memory of the horrible things you did. Amen. Somehow Jesus is looking at you and He doesn't have that look of condemnation. He doesn't have, like He said to the woman in the act of adultery in John chapter 8, He said, who condemns you? She looked around, there's nobody left. She says, no one, Lord. He looks at her all in the mirror. Come on, guys, you know she knew who she was. Come on, somebody. You know she's looking in the eyes of faith, the eyes of God, the eyes of true religion right in front of her. And He says, neither do I condemn you. But, and we often forget to quote this. We always quote, neither do I condemn you. But go and sin no more. See, at this point, Christianity differs from all other religions, psychologies, philosophies, etc. Exposing the bad and unlovely part of our hearts and lives does not mean that God rejects us. In fact, it is a vulnerable feeling, but psychology says that guilt is bad. That bad things need to be pressed down. Come on, somebody. That you can't have negative things. Get rid of the negative in your life. God says, bring that stuff up and let me deal with it. And let's get over it. Let's make it a balm of healing. God is pleased at our honest introspection. We're able to look at our own inside hearts and be honest about who we are. God is pleased. God can help. God can be involved. God wants to be involved in our lives. And it's not until we can honestly say, I know who I am, Lord, that God says, yes, now we can do something about this. Now I can help you. He can help us clean up, restore us, make all things new. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18, but we all, with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as by the Spirit of the Lord. Let's bow our heads.